Welcome to the Getting Results Inc. podcast. My name is Coach Gino, and alongside is Super Coach, Coach Ken. Super Coach, how are you?
Good. As you can see out there, America is getting stronger from our work. And if you saw the recent GDP figures, but America is growing thanks to us at getting results, keeping it safe for capitalism. So no need to thank us, but just want to know that we're doing our duty, Gino.
Nice. No, there's no doubt. I'm enjoying my gains in the stock market right now. All that stuff's looking good right now. I try not to look too much, but man, it looks really good. So
Does it good? I haven't looked at it at all.
let's keep it going.
Let's go. Let's go. Keep America.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. All right. So Super Coach, today we want to talk about a very interesting topic.
A hip now and wow topic that's on the mouth of many a person.
Yeah, and it's gone around kind of virally, is that this whole concept of, is 10x easier than 2x, right? And we both read the book,
Of
10x
course.
is easier than 2x, multiple times even, and we've even recommended it to people to read. But, today we're here to talk about, is it really easier than 2x? So Super Coach, what are your thoughts?
If we have to tell the hard truth of things, is it really easier to 10 times your results or 2 times your results? Now, there's a strange thing about making money in general. It's a weird thing that happens, that if you want to make $100,000, which I'm sure all of you are, but now let's say you want to go from $100,000 to 800 or $1.7 million. An interesting thing happens along the way. Before you can get to $800,000 and you're only making 100, you have to get to 200 first, and then comes 300, and then 400. There's this, what's the word? Sequential flow to things. And is 10x easier than 2x? Think about that. Use your rational brain. Of course it is not easier. Right? Nothing of value is easy. All value is earned. So if you want to make 10 times the amount of more money than you are today, you are going to have to earn it. And it is not going to be easy, nor is doubling your income. But here's the weird revelation I've had in the since I put out that article, since I've been thinking about things and sort of going into that meditative cave of keeping America safe for capitalism. And I'm like, is 10x really easier than 2x? The answer is no, it's not easy. But here comes the rationale. So, Gino, as you know, I've been thinking about things. I'm like, okay, how do we get in really great shape? We had one of our coaches recently did SEAL Fit. Coach John knocked the cover off the ball out there. And for any of you people who know what SEAL Fit is, going to a volunteer hell week or a hell day is insane for most normal people.
And paying for it in many ways.
And paying for it not only financially, but physically and mentally. And part of our conversation on our coaches call was like, wow, John is 10 times fitter than probably all of us on the call. I'm like, wow. Then I said, wow, okay, how did he get there and what is he doing? Well, he's training for it. Right? Not only did he train for it, but he also had a specific date. He had a community. He had instructors pushing him to go through it. So, and there I began to really have a moment of an epiphany, if you will. Is 10x easier than 2x? Once again, the answer is no. But once you get clear on what your 10x route is, you've just had a probability stack in your favor. So in my own sort of interesting inquiry here, I'm like, okay, how, if you want to lose 5 pounds, lose 10 pounds, I'm sure most people on this call would like to lose 10 pounds, right? It's summertime, get fit for the beach. Sure, it'd be great to lose 10 pounds. Now, Gino's a very fit guy, and I said, if I asked Gino, how can an individual lose 10 pounds? He's going to give me lots of different answers. Okay, you got to work on your nutrition. Are you tracking your food? Are you working out? What kind of workouts you're doing? And there'd be a lot of blah, 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 blah. So he's going to give me probably, I don't know, how many ways are there to lose 10 pounds?
There's a lot of different ways, no doubt. But in the end, there's only one thing that matters. That's the thing, right? You gotta go down that rabbit hole really deep in order for it to happen.
Right. What's the thing that matters? I had a buddy who's a strength coach for Rutgers, professional, big dude, huge dude. He got up to 310, 320, and he lifts weights all day long, all day. That's his job. That's his profession, right? So, of course, he's a big, strong, strapping dude. But I saw him a couple of weeks ago, and he weighs 250. He lost 60 pounds. I'm like, damn, you're looking good. Are you on the sauce? You on the glip? And he's like, nah. And he's a big dude. He's got the big gruff voice. He's like, no, I just fast. I'm like, what do you mean you fast? He's like, yeah, I don't eat. I'm like, well, like, okay, for how long? Days. I'm like, well, how many? Like, he's like, I eat 3 days a week. I'm like,
That's extreme.
yeah, it's extreme. And then he's like, Doyle, you got to try this one. A dry fast. I'm like,
God.
what's that? He's like, it's nothing for
No
3
water.
days. Like nothing. No
No
food,
water.
no
Nothing.
water, nothing for 3 days. I'm like, woof. So once again, there are many, many ways to do. So is 10x easier than 2x? Okay. I think it all depends on what really becomes the goal. So I've been playing around with this idea. Okay, how can I drop 30 pounds? Right? 30 pounds, not 10 pounds, but 30. I'll get lean again, look like a lifeguard, if you will. Yes, I can see me now on the beach. Yes, flexing. Where's the beach? Yes. And so I've tracked food before I do CrossFit. I lift, I trained, I do a lot of training, etc. But then I really asked myself, okay, if I really want to lose 30 pounds, what do I need to do? And then for me, and this is my answer, not Gino's answer, not anybody else's answer, but for me, and the thing that really tweaked me was like, I need to run. And I'm like, I don't want to run. And then I was like, maybe I should do a marathon. And then my mind said, I've already done a marathon. I've done that. Didn't really excite me or scare me, actually, because I know I can run a marathon if I train for it. But lo and behold, I was flipping through things, and then I saw in my local area that we have this thing called the Legacy Trail, which I ride my bike on. They said the Legacy Trail Ultra. Right? Doing an ultra, a CK ultra, and part of my heart said, yes, I should do that. And the same breath was like, oh my God, no, I shouldn't. That's going to hurt like a mother. And man, I haven't trained like that in a long time. But then suddenly, I knew that's what the answer was. Suddenly, it's the one thing. Is running an ultra easy? No. Okay. But for me, it feels like that clicks everything in. Right? Suddenly, everything makes sense. You see, there's a deep sort of coaching principle here for all of us and all things that you do is that nothing makes sense, right? Running an ultra does not make any sense. John doing the SEAL camp thing does not make any sense. Pete going tuna fishing this weekend with clients and spending bajillions of dollars to go tuna fishing doesn't make any sense. Why? Because you can buy the tuna in the store. Right. Okay. Why does an ultra make no sense? Because who needs to run 60 whatever kilometers? No one. But once you choose it to make sense, it then makes a world of sense. It becomes an organizing principle in everything else that you do. Much like if you're going to 10x something, if you're going to 10x your revenue, like one of the challenges I've had with this concept, and I'll be truthful here, is because I haven't been able to figure out, as Gino coached me on, as of yet, how do we 10x getting results revenue and maintain quality standards, maintain the impact, and maintaining our safety net for America and capitalism without sacrificing any of those things. And I haven't been able to figure that out. And since I haven't been able to figure it out, I was like, bah, it doesn't work. But then I thought perhaps it's a tangential goal, right? Like tangentially. Okay, because way always leads on to way. Because one of the things I think Gino and I, are getting results, can figure out is, okay, how can we 10 times the client experience for our clients for getting results? And then suddenly ideas begin to pop in our heads, right? And perhaps it's the tangential goal that matters.
Yeah, Super Coach, I had an epiphany about this too. You know when 10x is easier than 2x? Is when you've already done everything, all the hard work that you needed to do to get to it. Yeah, then continue to 10x is pretty easy because you got the whole structure set up, right?
Yeah.
It's like that article that you wrote about digging holes. If you dig a bunch of shallow holes, how the heck are you ever gonna, get to where you need to get to, because you keep starting, stopping.
Yep.
This is really about digging that deep hole that you just keep going and commit to and give it all your attention. It's going to take time. It's going to hurt. It's going to be painful. It's going to be a lot of work. But until you get down, you figured out that structure, that one thing that you need to go down deep on, you're not going to be able to really get there if you don't put the attention. And it's not going to be easy until you've set all that up and did all the
Yeah.
hard work first.
Spot on. Right, spot on. You just gave me an epiphany or a breakthrough. 10x is easier than 2x when you do not have any 2x options.
There you go.
Right.
There it is.
When you have no other options, 10x is easier. Right.
Right.
Once you've burned the boats proverbially, there are no other options. And I think that's been the trap, at least for me in the past. That's our options, our choices.
And
right?
that's the thing, right? That's why 2x on the surface is easier, because there's so many ways you can get 2x done, right? Whatever that, in whatever realm, whether it's losing weight, our business, our clients' business, all that stuff. There's so many different options, which makes it difficult in that you just got to choose one, right? But with 10x, it requires a whole other level of thought and strategy and commitment to be able to get there. So you really can only figure out, hey, what's the one hole I'm going to dig? Multiple ain't going to get it done.
Spot on. And so for all our financial advisors out there, thinking about, okay, if you want to 10x your production and you're like, damn, I can't figure that out. Okay, good. Don't. Figure out in another arena, if you will, where can you add that 10x multiplier? Okay, could it be in your client service model? Could it be in your investment program? Could it be in the way that you treat staff or promote staff within? Or could your 10x return be your office itself? Like, okay, like how can we make this into an A times 10 place? And then trust in the greater power of things. That way leads on to way. Right? Much like what John doing Seal Fit this weekend, it opened up something. He's like, if I can accomplish this, what else is available? A lot of times I will talk about the target behind the target. So sometimes we think that the target is the real target, but what really is the bigger target is the one behind it, or the biblical saying, you have plans, God has plans, God's plans are better.
Yeah. Super Coach, as you were saying, I just thought of something too. What if you look at just what's the one activity you can 10x that could make that happen? Like, so if you want to grow your business by 10x, well, what's that one thing? So maybe your 10x is, hey, I only prospect for 2 hours a week. All right. Well, what if you 10x'd your your prospecting? Would that then do that lift? Or if you want to, so John, the reason why I just thought is Seal Fit. John didn't just keep his same training program going. He just didn't, it wasn't just about consistency. He ramped it up. That guy was rocking on beaches and sand with boots in the middle of the summertime. Oh, by the way, he was stopping every so often to do 100 push-ups and then going another mile in that sand with the rock. And then, right, that wasn't normal training. He 10x what he was doing to get to the 10x results.
Yeah, spot on. And I think another way too around prospecting, when you first heard that, I thought of volume. Okay, if I'm prospecting 2 hours a week, why don't I go 20? Then my immediate reaction would be that's more work. I don't want to do that. But what if we did it a different way? In that prospecting concept, how can you text that? How can you make it 10 times better, not 10 times more volume,
Bingo.
but 10 times better? So I know
what if it was you only saw one really good client a prospect week, but now all of a sudden you 10x it and you were in front of 10 of your best clients every week? Right. Could that maybe that's quality, right? That could be potential.
Or when you're in front of that prospect, you amplify that experience times 10.
Yes, I like that too. There we go.
Like for our avid listeners out there who are running golf clinics or gun clinics or all the other stuff that we recommend to do, what if you began to amplify that by a factor of 10?
Bam.
Right? I mean, I think that's the inquiry, because way then leads on to way. Things will be revealed to you. And I don't want to speak mysteriously or there's some sort of hidden Zen concept in this. There is, but
there is.
It is. We are brainwashing you for fun and profit. I just want you to know that, keeping America safe from capitalism. We're under deep cover from the CIA to protect us. That's not true.
On the count of 3, when I snap my finger, no, I'm just kidding.
But you can add that level. It's attention. Ultimately, it comes down to attention. And what you give your attention to, you get more of. And the straight and narrow, the more you are on the straight and narrow path, the faster you go. Notice there are no straight lines in nature, right? Nature has a tendency to create chaos, but stuff doesn't go in straight lines. But a highway, if you have a highway and it's straight, you can go really, really fast. If you have a highway that's curvy, that's going in all these other directions, you can go really, really fast, but you may end up in the ditch, the river, or off the cliff, if you will. But if you have a straight highway, you know clearly where the destination is and you're in alignment, you go further and faster with less fuel. Because the hard part about all of this stuff, it's really easy to get distracted. The 2 times concept, right? There's so many opportunities to double your business. Since there's so many opportunities, you dig shallow pits. But if you get really clear, you got the one opportunity. There's no more other 2x opportunities.
No distractions.
There's no distractions. And then you go. Now, okay, and then what happens if you don't 10x your business, but you 7 times it? All right.
I don't know. Would you take that?
I think that's a fail, right? That's a fail. But there's a lot of benefit to that.
No doubt. Because here's the thing, you just 7x, maybe the job's not done yet. You're at the 7x, but that means you haven't dug deep enough potentially to continue to set that structure up to then get to that 10x. So, but by the way, I wouldn't mind getting from 2x to 7x. I'd take that in a heartbeat.
But even if you're at 7x, opportunities and windows will be available to you that are not available to you at 2x, right? Or like anything else, right? Like just like way leads on to way. There's this old thing around physical fitness in general about, especially with older people. And one of the scary things about getting older is goes something like this. It says, the less you can do, the less you can do. Okay. The more time you spend on the couch on your butt means the more time you will spend on your couch right? Literally, the less you can do, the less you can do. So the corollary is the more that you can do, the more that you can do. Right. And there's a level of power to that. So the more that you can do, the more that you can do. Hence why our C class is so powerful, right? The Slight Edge Accelerator, because you're in a community of people setting big goals around other people who are setting big goals. Hence, they inspire and you build off the energy. And the C, once again, it's every 120 days. It's so you don't drift. You got to check back in. That's why we also have monthly coaching calls, so you don't drift, because it's really easy to drift and it is really easy to come out of the conversation. Because there's one concept, okay, hey, I just listened to a podcast about 10x in my business. And then you start watching the Netflix trilogy on, I don't know, the American Frontier or what other great stuff is out there on Netflix. And then you go to Prime, and then there's YouTube TV, and then Deion Sanders has bladder cancer. Oh my God, how could that happen? This is horrible. Like he's got to deal with the pens. And 8 months later, you're like, hey, did I think about 10x in the business? See, that's the danger of the modern world, because it's very distracting. There's lots of bright and shiny things to get us distracted.
And like you like to say, right, it takes rice time to cook. So if you're impatient or you expect results right away, you don't put the hard-earned work and attention into it, it's easy for you to get distracted.
It's so easy. It's so easy to get distracted. Right? Desire the good of all, and the universe will work with you. But if you want your own pleasure, you must earn it the hard way. Before desiring, deserve. Like once again, before desiring, deserve. There's a powerful, that's one of our great teachers out there. There's a lot of power in that. Desire the good of all, and the universe will work with you. But if you want your own pleasure, you must earn it the hard way. Before desiring, deserve. So if you want 10 times your income, do you deserve it?
Yeah.
Or how can you desire the good of all? Like, how can you keep America safer for capitalism?
You digging shallow holes, or you're digging one deep hole? You putting your back into it, or are you just, doing the minimum required and you're expecting a big result out?
Correct.
Yep.
I think awesome. It just sort of end with this concept too, and we'll close, but this idea, it's 10x is easier than 2x when there are no 2x opportunities.
Yeah.
Like if you really think about it, it's kind of like beatings will continue until morale improves.
Yeah.
Right. That's a nice American koan, right? Beatings will continue until morale improves. That doesn't sound fun. That doesn't sound nice. Why are you beating me? If you stop beating me, my morale will improve. No, beatings will continue until morale improves. So think about that one.
No doubt. No doubt. All right, Super Coach, great stuff. To our listeners, if you enjoyed today's podcast and got value from it, please like or share, give us a rating, forward our podcast on to any peers, friends, people you know. We could be found on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and on our website, gettingresultsinc.com. Until our next episode, be great.